Code podcast here, coming at you from Apex 2026, and we are joined by Juan Arango from Parmi.
Parmi.
Or if you're in their native land, Parmi.
Can I just say I'm really disappointed or upset with myself because, we're only going to mention this once, right? These two had the ability to go out to see your facility and do the demos on site and everything like that.
I can't think of a single way that experience could have been improved.
It was literally perfect.
So that's it. We're going to throw that out there now. We're not going to bring it up again because every time they do, it makes me jealous that I want to go out there. I want to see everything.
Why don't you come?
My
Let's
wife.
do another
It's
one.
my wife. 100% my wife.
Oh.
Yeah. I got 2 little kids and...
All right, we've heard this sob story a million times. So Juan is the head of SMT Business Development at Parmi, and you've been in the industry for quite some time and had various different roles. But I think, kind of to Sean's point, it's really unique when we actually have a chance to work with somebody who we sit here and interview. And that week was awesome. We did some print trials and got a chance to get hands on with your equipment. And yeah, that was a really cool experience. So thank you for the hospitality when we were there. We broke bread together that night and got to see the cool stuff that you guys have going on at Parmi. So talk to us a little bit about, SPI and AOI. Particularly interested in SPI. I have a basic understanding that Parmi does things a bit different than other platforms.
Correct.
You guys like lasers too. He's a laser guy. A couple of...
So that could be it. So Parmi is the only company that does inspection equipment with laser. And people say, why Parmi is the only one? Because some people badmouth the laser as older technology. If you go back in history, the original inspection equipment was laser, but it was dots. So you couldn't hit cycle time needs.
Sure.
So Mr. Wang, our owner, patented the fact that he can make a line out of that laser. But because it's a patent, nobody else can use it. So for others to be able to come up with cycle time capabilities to match the cycle time that the mounters do, Morier was what everybody went with. And there's digital or analog Morier. And each one, whoever uses one, tell you that one's better than the other.
Well, I'll give my experience recently. We recently demoed about 20 boards with you guys, both at the local Horizon Demo Center and then also at SMTAI. And what was really cool was on those 20 arrays that we scanned at my shop originally, Parmi was like, hey, just so you know, you have a loose resistor on one of these parts, right? On one of the boards. They were the only one that picked up the foreign object detection, right? Because the laser picked it up on it, right? We didn't even know that part was there, right? Because it adds to a cycle time on it, right? And it's a black board. It was a small diode, right? I don't even know if it would have picked it up. But it was just interesting that you guys were the only ones who found it, right? Because you could see the bump on the board.
Right. And because we are laser, when we scan the entire board. If you want to detect foreign objects, just turn it on. And you can decide what the size are to look for, so there's no cycle time hit. Anybody that does field of view, because I can pronounce that better than Morier, they go to where the components are on the board so they can optimize their cycle time. If you tell them, no, I want full board, then their cycle time goes up quite a bit.
And what I didn't realize, too, is a lot of these 3Ds are actually stitched together images.
Correct.
Right? Where the laser, because I have this really, really tall connector, and then there's resistors around it. And I can't get to it no matter what camera system you put. You put 15, 20 cameras on there, it's still going to be blocked in there. It's going to look weird in the final image. But you guys were the only ones who've seen it. I showed my quality manager, and she's like, this is the one we need, right?
And because our laser, it's a small head, you guys saw, the laser attacks at 14.5 degrees. Morier, the head is much bigger, and it comes in around 22, 24, depending on who does it. And something we can do is on an AOI, if you have like a connector where it's got plastic on the outside and pins inside, they can't see past the sides, where no problem.
I remember watching, that was one of the coolest things doing the demo, was seeing as it does its scan, it's building the image on the screen, as it does it. And I don't think I would ever get tired of watching that. It's so cool.
It's so gratifying, yeah.
Well, and that is because with our laser, we have a CMOS chip in the head. So it processes all that information at 20,000 frames per second. So in field of view systems, you got to wait for the entire board to finish, and then they do all their stitching. And remember, they're doing squares, right? So they got to stitch all 4 sides. So a typical question is, how big of a connector before you stitch? If it's this way, no stitching.
Yeah, we actually thought it was noise that it was picking up, but then we put it under a microscope. We go, oh, there's a component actually right there, right? It was funny.
So one thing that our owner felt that our technology is so good that you don't need to do marketing because, it's so good. I said, the day everybody knows it's so good, then you can get to that. But I call ourselves our best kept secret. People will come up to our booth. Oh, Parmi, Italian company? Do you
make a
do
cheese? Yeah. Sean said it in an earlier podcast, but I always like to say the first requirement for somebody to buy something from you is they have to know you exist, right? So you don't want to be that best kept secret. And I think that's an impact that you've had. We've started to see Parmi more and more. I see it in the field, in the wild. But I also think another thing that I personally like about Parmi, and again, we try to be agnostic, right? We talk to manufacturers for all different. We got to play nice with everybody. But the support structure that you have in place, like I've personally benefited from Mike Butler's expertise. So I think, the equipment matters, obviously. It's got to be good, but the people behind it matter just as much. And you guys have a really solid team there.
And that's something that, nothing good happens after bad printing. So the key is that first part. Have you ever found a mounter to fix?
I want to put that sign right now in front of my printer, right? Like right there.
So, and having a Butler and a Marini that have been in that print process expertise for so long, they can do things that, is magic. And that's one of the things that we're doing now, working. And, I need to improve our brand recognition. I don't want to be here next year saying I'm still the best kept secret.
Well, I know Crochet's up there sometimes, and everyone can hear when she's on the show floor anywhere. So you get her to say Parmi a few times, everyone will know about it quickly.
You guys know she uses our demo room in Hopkinton, Mass. as her private.
Which I think is also awesome that you have a screen printer there. So, that's saying something. Like we can develop and test our product in-house. We can work on applications. We can...
That's a big benefit. Yeah. Some people are going to require you to ship a pasted board for them to be able to show you their platform. To be able to take your bare boards and see the true process in real time in front of you, like what the print looks like, how long it actually takes from scratch to program the SPI, the kind of results you get, what it gives you.
That's not nothing.
Same thing on the AOI. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh, and the nice thing about Chris, she is... a respected person with a lot of knowledge and with a following that people, she's got a lot of credibility. So we want to work with her because, for example, when you guys came, if you have different types of stencils, Butler eats that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris is brutally honest. A personal friend. But if the stencil's not working right and it's something I did, she's going to say it. So that, I think that's how she keeps her credibility. But it's a nice symmetry to have, these kind of relationships. And
that AI detection part too that you guys have for the programming. We did it 2 ways. We did one where we had the bomb, we put that in there, right? We did the other way where, hey, I'm not even going to tell you what part is on here.
That's crazy impressive when they do it that way.
That was nuts.
At the show, we've already had 6 companies come with their boards. And the
sight unseen to you guys?
I didn't know what I was getting. And one of them said, I'm bringing an ugly board.
Oh, yeah.
4.5 minutes later, it's programmed.
Insane. It's insane. And it's
in
got
your world, high mix is key, right? If it takes you 2 hours to generate a program that is, let's just say, debug, because you're not even fine-tuning, that's not bad, actually. But with us, if it took us 30 minutes, we did something wrong. And that is key, because I know companies that will not run the AOI because it takes them too long to program because it's only 20 boards.
I had to literally shut down my line last Friday because of that. It was a massive amount of unique parts, a massive amount of placements.
You're probably looking at 2 companies that do that, right? 20 pieces. Are you always going to program an AOI?
Well, I don't
for that?
want to run the rest of those boards without knowing it's good. So we stopped it. I mean, it depends, right, on what the job is. But
And complexity.
this one I had to have AOI programmed prior, and we just shut down the line Friday and switched over to a different job. And now I got 150 feeders tied up. And then thankfully the other job didn't require so many, but 100%, right? So, and I'm not the only CM that goes through.
No, and that's one of the things that Parmi recognizes, and why we're trying to, spread the gospel of that it really does well in high mix, because for you, if you ship something bad, that may be the last time you get that customer.
100%.
So, and what do we accept instead of an escape? A painful amount of false calls.
Yeah.
You need to come by and see our AI verification. The way they've done it is, you've seen the AI program. That one's pretty slick. What they've done is, the next step is, let's say, second judgment. Through AI, we're able to pre-classify what was not. The good is good. You got to deal with, is it good or bad? If it's bad, that's what you want to know. If it's good, then what we do is we pre-classify, and if you let it, it'll go back to the program and change inspection conditions so that false doesn't show up again. But with the current way it works, we're reducing your second judgment need by over 80%.
And then just building upon that.
It's got a deep learning in the background, and also SPC for statistical analysis. So it's data-driven.
That's the issue, too, though, as CMs I'm facing, and I know you guys can't solve this part yet, but it's finding the qualified operators to make those calls.
But that's why the AI, you need less Harvard grads.
Good point. Good point.
With the AI programming, the biggest benefit, obviously, a quick program is nice, but the fact that now you have a consistent way of programming.
Okay, if you have AI making judgments for you on pass or fail beyond the initial, is that data being tracked where a person could review later to be
And that's why I said, if you let it, and maybe at the beginning until you have confidence, because all we need is that, say, 20% for their judgment. But as it learns, then it's less and less and less, because the goal is to eliminate that position. That one AI verification server will take care of 10 lines.
And that person can go and do something more useful on the line, right?
That generates you more revenue.
Yeah, and those people are always needed elsewhere. Always. Always.
But when you're dealing with programming and debugging and fine-tuning, it's a higher level. So you need better quality people. And let's face it, in this world now, it's people old like me and young like you guys.
I got to watch how many times I talk to you, because every time I do, I just want to say why, right? Like every time. Because it's cool. It's different, right?
It is different.
It's not. You have your moire, right, and then you have laser, right, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And
It's a different world.
It's a different world.
Yeah, when you were talking about the laser technology being framed as old, right? Such a weak argument. I hear that sometimes for different technologies, right? Well, that's old. They've been doing it that way for a long time. I mean, the internal combustion engine is old, right?
But yeah, and there haven't been any improvements made on that in the last 100 years.
Right? Yeah. It's not like they get 50 miles per gallon now and you can make 400 horsepower out of a 2.5-liter motor, right? It's just the same as it was. It's old. Awesome. Well, this has been a great chat. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How can people decloak the secret that is Parmi? Where can they learn about your product and the technology?
2131 is our booth. Please come by. And like I said, if you have your own board, bring it.
And they don't need the bomb. They don't need the Gerber.
We don't need anything.
You can just come. I mean,
The benefit of the bomb is if the same part number is used 20 times and it had to be debugged, then the other 19 come for free.
we tried it both ways just to see, but it was just cool. It was nice to know, like, nah, I don't need it if you don't want it,
Well, and if you've got old stuff, you may not have that data.
Yeah.
But how do you verify, like a manufacturer part number, that the marking itself is correct if you don't have the bill of materials to go?
So
teach it.
If we have we call it the bomb, it's your part number. So we're using your part number because you also told me the X and Y coordinates of that part. So it's your part number.
You teach it. It looks like this, right? Am I wrong? You just
right.
literally just go through it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we realize that that's an outlier case, right? But it does happen. So knowing that there's a way to deal with that.
You can have alternate part numbers too and alternate manufacturers. So there's many ways to skin the cat. In the end, what's your goal? Ship good stuff to your customer.
Ship good stuff. Well, thank you, Juan, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
tuning in.
My pleasure.